It's time for a spelling analysis, and this is list 30, the final list of essentials. So today we will be using our new advanced phonogram. Tss. Say that with me. Tss. And we will also have a few words that have exceptions. Once again, you have learned all these words through essentials, and you know that the phonograms and the spelling rules, they are very regular. They explain about 98% of English words. But be watching for a few unusual words in today's list. The first word is pizza. Do you have a favorite kind of pizza? Go ahead and say pizza. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell pizza. What will we say to spell? Pizza. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is P, P, E. Use an I, E, Y. The second syllable is sa, ts. This is our new advanced phonogram. Ts. Ah. Use an A, ah. Go ahead and write pizza, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is P, P, E, and then saw, S, ah. How will we mark it? What sound of I, E, Y do you hear? It's the third. And why did it say it's E sound? I may say E anywhere it says the long I sound. And here it's at the end of the syllable. We'll underline that advanced phonogram, S. And then what sound of A, ah do we hear? That's right, it's the broad sound. And why is it saying it's broad sound? Well, it's at the end of the word. Let's read it. Pizza. Excellent. The next word is picnic. Would you like to go on a picnic this afternoon? Picnic. Let's say picnic. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell pick-nick. What will we say to spell? Pick-nick. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is pick. I, use an I, E, Y. K. This is a k, s. Nick. I, I, E, Y again. K, k, s again. Go ahead and write pick, nick, sounding it out as you write it. And help me to write it. The first syllable is pick. P, I, k. The second syllable is nick. I, k. And let's read it. Ick, ick, picnic. Excellent. The next word is million. The business made $5 million with the sale. Go ahead and say million. How many syllables? 2. Now we will say to spell million. I'm exaggerating it. What will we say to spell? Million. Let's say it together, or let's sound it out together. The first syllable is mil. I, use an I, E, Y, ul. And then lion. Ul, y. This is an I, E, Y. N. Go ahead and write million. And again, I'm exaggerating it so that you hear it clearly. All right, help me to write it. The first syllable is mil. I, ul. And then lion. Ul, y, n. Excellent. Which sound of I, E, Y do you hear right here? That's right, it's the fourth sound. It's saying it's consonant sound. So million is 2 syllables. And in this word, the Y sound is actually a consonant, million. Do you hear it? You can hear it even when you don't exaggerate it. Million. Excellent. All right, the next word is similar. It's billion. There are 6 billion people in that country. Billion. Go ahead and say billion. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell billion. Once again, I'm exaggerating it. What will we say to spell? Billion. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is bill. B, I, use an I, E, Y, ul. Lion. Ul, y, n. Go ahead and write billion. And help me to write it. I, ul, and then lyan, ul, ya, n. And what sound of I, E, ya is that saying? That's right, it's saying its fourth sound, yeah, billion, billion. You can even feel it when you're saying it, billion. And here, it's acting as a consonant. It's not a vowel. If that were a vowel, billion would be 3 syllables because every syllable would have a vowel in it then. All right, the next word is another. She needs another piece of paper. Another. Say another. How many syllables? 3. We will say to spell a-noth-er. What will we say to spell? A-noth-er. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is A. A, noth, n-a-th, er. The of her. Go ahead and write a-noth-er. And help me to write it. A, noth, n-a-th, And how will we mark it? We'll put a line over the A. Why did it say its long sound? A, E, O, U usually say their long sounds at the end of the syllable. And we'll underline the th. And what sound of th do we hear in another? That's right, it's its second sound and it's voiced. And we'll underline the Now, we have the schwa sound here. We don't say another, we say another. And why is it a schwa? Any vowel may say its schwa sound, or I, in an unstressed syllable. And this is unstressed, another. Now we also say here. What's going on? O may say next to a W, TH, M, N, or V. There it is, right between an N and a TH. So that is spelled with an O. It's our lazy O sound. Let's read it. Another. Excellent. The next word is busy. We are very busy this morning. Busy. Go ahead and say busy. How many syllables? 2. Now, let's sound it out. We will say to spell buzz, E. That's strange, isn't it? Buzz, E. Let's sound it out together. The first syllable is buzz. B-a-z. Use a s-z. The second syllable is E. There you go. It's a y-e-i-e. Go ahead and write buzz, E. And help me to write it. B-a-z. Second syllable is E. E. Now, this says busy. This is an exception because you doesn't say it, but it clearly says it in busy. So we will mark it with an X. This is one of the exceptions to the phonograms. But are the other phonograms in this word regular? Well, this says B. This says Z. So it's saying busy. It's saying its second sound. And this is saying E. So there's one exception in this word. Let's read it. B-I-Z-E. Busy. Excellent. The next word is related. When you are in business, you can be very busy. The word business is the word busy with the suffix ness added. So now you know something about how this is spelled. So if we take busy and add the suffix ness, what do we need to know? You're right, we need to know that this ends in a single vowel Y. And what do? We change the Y to I unless the ending begins with an I. But the ending ness begins with a n, so we will change this to I. Now, when we write business, we will say to spell buzz-i-ness. Now, let's sound it out. The first syllable is buzz. B-a-z. Use a s-z. I. What kind of I will that be? You're right. It's an I-I-E-ya. It's that Y that changed. And then ness. N-e-s-s. Go ahead and write buzz-i-ness. Excellent. And help me to write it. B-a-z-i-ness. s. And how will we mark it? We'll put an X over the I because u, doesn't say I. This is an exception. We'll put a 2 over the Z. This is saying it's short sound. Why? I and Y may say I or I at the end of the syllable. And here we often double FL or S after a single short vowel, which we did in the suffix ness. Let's read it. B, I, Z, I, N, S, S, business. Now, I hope you can see that busy and business are related in meaning and that they are the word busy with the Y changing to I and adding the suffix ness. And they both have this exception to the phonograms and spelling rules right there. The next word is careful. Please be careful on the ice. Careful. Go ahead and say careful. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell careful. What will we say to spell? Careful. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is care. K. Use a k. S. A, silent final E. The second syllable is full. F, ul. Go ahead and write careful. And help me to write it. The first syllable is care. K, A, silent final E. The second syllable is full. F, ul. And how will we mark it? We'll put a line over the A and we'll double underline the E. So why did the A say it's long sound? The vowel said it's long sound because of the E. That's right. And why did we not drop the E? We dropped the silent final E when adding a vowel suffix. Is this a vowel suffix? No, it's not. And notice the ending full is spelled with one L, unlike the word full. And what sound of u, do you hear in full? Full. Is it the full or full? I think it's the broad sound. Careful. Excellent. And there it is. It's that broad sound before an L. Let's read it. K, A, F, ul. Careful. The next word is hour. We will leave in 1 hour. Go ahead and say hour. Now, let's sound it out. We'll start with a silent ow, use an ow, o, u, Go ahead and write hour. And help me to write it. Hour. And how will we mark it? What do we do with silent letters? We put 2 lines under them. Once again, this is an exception because we have a silent H. Then we'll underline the ow, and let's read it. Hour, hour. Now this distinguishes it from the word hour as in spelled like this, meaning our house or our chair. And so this silent H distinguishes these 2 homophones, words that sound alike. It helps to show that this one means there are 24 hours in a day. The next word is half. There's only half a piece left. Half. Let's sound out half. A, silent L. F. Go ahead and write half. And help me to write it. A, silent L, F. How will we mark it? We'll double underline the silent L. Let's read it. Half. The next word is quartz. The stone or the rock is made of quartz. Go ahead and say quartz. We will say to spell quartz. Quartz. Let's sound it out together. Qu, R, T, Z. This is the phonogram that only says Z. Go ahead and write quartz. And help me to write it. Qu, R, T, Z. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the qu and the R. Let's read it. Qu, R, T, Z. Quartz. The next word is wealth. He pursued wealth and fame above all else. Go ahead and say wealth. Let's sound it out. Use an E-F-A, ul. Go ahead and write wealth. And help me to write it. ul. And how do we mark it? We'll underline the e. And what sound of E-F-A do we hear in wealth? The second. And we'll underline the th. Let's read it. Wealth. The next word is tie. Can you tie your shoes? Tie. Go ahead and say tie. Let's sound it out. T-I. This is an I-E-Y. Silent final E. Go ahead and write tie. And help me to write it. T-I. Silent final E. How will we mark it? What sound of I-E-Y do we hear? We hear the long sound. And why do we have a silent E in tie? Well, there's maybe two reasons. One would be to make the word look bigger. But the second reason is English words do not end in I, U, V, or J. So we would have had to spell this with maybe 3-letter I or a different spelling of I for it to be at the end. So it could also be there to keep the word from ending in I. Let's read it. T-I, tie. The next word is threaten. The hurricane will threaten the coast over the weekend. Threaten. Go ahead and say threaten. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell threat N. What will we say to spell? Threat N. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is threat. E. Use an E-A, t. The second syllable is N. N. Go ahead and write threat N. And help me to write it. Threat N. N. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the th and the e. And what sound of E-F-A do we hear? The second. And let's read it. Threaten. Excellent. The last word is tighten. We will need to tighten this bolt. Tighten. Go ahead and say tighten. How many syllables? 2. We will say to spell tight N. What will we say to spell? Tight N. Let's sound it out. The first syllable is tight. T-I. T. Did you see that? The second syllable is N. N. Go ahead and spell tight N. And help me to write it. Tight. T-I. N. N. And how will we mark it? We'll underline the I. Let's read it. T-I-T-N. Tighten. Great work. I hope that you have found spelling analysis to be useful. You will be able to apply the phonograms, the spelling rules, and the principles that you've learned to read and to spell and to analyze any word.
Combining the science of reading with the joy of learning. Learn more at essentials.logicoфenglish.com.